Over the last few days, my team and I have investigated the numerous claims of paranormal activity here at the Skirrid Inn. We documented several pieces of evidence which validated the numerous paranormal stories. Last night's lone vigils left us with more questions than answers. Corrine captured a male voice telling her to get out, and Carl had several responses during his ITC sessions in the prisoner's cell. While setting up for my lone vigil, Alex and I heard something move in the bar area, and upon returning to the bar later with the rest of the team, Carl witnessed a table in the bar shifting really quickly. Someone is trying to get our attention, but who?
I'm quite apprehensive about what's going to happen because of what happened in my past.
That was very clear get out.
She saw a shadow pass across the bathroom door.
Take a seat next to MJ.
Excuse me?
The table moved.
I've been back a few times and I can't get enough of this place.
I am ice cold, literally ice cold. That says my name.
Well, that wasn't terrifying at all.
The tea light's been placed on the carpet in an ever such straight line, and there was a smell of perfume in the room.
Oh, don't move. Do not move. The SLS camera has just started mapping in a figure as we walked in.
2 people were scratched. Like, one was scratched at the start while we were trying to sort out their REM pods.
You always get that feeling of being watched.
We were on the stairs, just about to walk up, and we'd heard an almighty bang.
Oh, hey.
It's gone ice cold. It's sitting like on the corner of the bed where that cold temperature drop is.
And all of a sudden the table we're sitting at shifted about 9 inches to the right.
Just really love the place, never fails to deliver.
Oh, battery drain.
Oh, you're joking.
No, the whole SLS is just shutting down. It's just drained the whole battery. We interviewed paranormal investigator Lee to find out if any of the evidence he has documented during his many investigations of the Skirrid Inn would match any of our findings and other eyewitness reports.
The first time we investigated here, we were in room 3 to start, and nobody else was in the building, and we started to hear a couple of bangs from downstairs. One of them was really loud. The camera doesn't do it justice, but it did. For the first experience of Skirrid Inn, it did make us think, oh, okay, what was that? And went downstairs, couldn't find anything out of place. And that was a good introduction to the investigation. Come to the end of the investigation, just about to pack up, we were on the stairs, just about to walk up, and we'd heard an almighty bang from upstairs. And even I said, okay, that is not outside. And it just sounded like somebody had picked something up from the room above, whether it be a little chair or a table, just dropped it a couple of inches from the floor. And it was, okay, that was weird. And that really sort of set the tone for what was to come later on in the investigations that we did. The next time we came here, we thought, okay, what we'll do, we'll spend 20 minutes each, just alone. The other person go and wait in the car. I'd already done my 20 minutes. It came time for Corrine to do hers. And just as she's leaving, we hear a voice, and it sounds like it's saying something like, going out, moving out there. And it's just before Corrine says, I'm going out, I'm going out. So, and it's a clear voice, cannot explain that at all. It's definitely not me, definitely not Corrine. The aim whenever we come to the Skirrid Inn is just to capture as much paranormal evidence as we possibly can. We know about the history of the place. All this used to be one floor. There's a rumour that Judge Jeffries used to be here and his brand of justice was hang 'em, and that was it. The original hanging beam is still here at the Skirrid Inn as well. When it comes to investigating at the Skirrid, Room 2 is definitely my favourite room. We've captured some amazing EVPs in there, such as one time was just about to sit down and you can hear somebody say, "Okay, something in the next room." And that's said just before I speak. And again, with the face cams, we can prove it's not me and it's not Corrine. So it's fantastic EVP. By far the best thing we've ever caught at the Skirrid Inn was an EVP that was captured in room 2. We were just getting set up to do an experiment, and one of the investigators just mentions how late it is and what time we're going to finish. And he says something like, "Yep, it's going to be a long one." And then from out of nowhere, we hear a voice saying, "Housekeeper." It's incredibly clear, especially on an enhanced version. We can prove it's not one of us. Really, really clear EVP, and the best we've ever caught.
The team and I are starting to notice patterns between the evidence captured and the various reports of paranormal activity, such as the clear EVPs in the upstairs bedrooms, furniture moving downstairs in the bar and restaurant, and the figures that are so often seen, especially around the staircase. Paranormal investigator Mark is no stranger to the inn. His experiences could help us figure out exactly who may be responsible for these hauntings.
First time at the Skirrid Inn would have been probably about 10 years ago. It's a lovely old place, and initially the evening itself was quite quiet. Not a great deal happened. People were doing glass divination and talking board and a little bit of EVP work, but generally it was a quiet place for me. However, I think the place draws you back. This place draws you back for some reason. We spoke to the owner and booked it for ourselves. And I think I've been here probably 6 or 7 times now. I stayed here with my wife, and we were in bedroom 1 upstairs. And we came down for something to eat in the evening, and the room was fine, you know, we didn't feel anything unusual. Went upstairs, and when we went upstairs, the tea lights had been placed on the carpet in an ever such straight line, and there was a smell of perfume in the room, which wasn't there, obviously. It wasn't my wife's perfume.
And often before she's sighted, and in fact each and every time really, there's a strong smell of old-fashioned perfume.
There's lots of rumours, should we say, about one particular spirit within the Skirrid which maybe would do that. And I think it was that one, to be honest with you. I think that it was definitely had a feminine touch to it, what happened. That was more feminine than masculine, I believe. I believe her name's Fanny Price. During another visit here, I was with two gentlemen who were, there was a group before us. 2 of them were what can only be described as skeptics. They didn't believe things like the talking board, glass divination, EVPs. They really needed to see something or hear something for themselves to convince them. We went upstairs, and I had a video camera. I was videoing downstairs, set up on a tripod, and nothing, well, like I say, nothing came through. We went upstairs, and I still had the videoing running. I was holding on to the video camera, and I had forgotten to turn it off, so the video was still running. The 2 gentlemen were in front of me, I was behind them, and there was a guy behind me. We went into room 1. As I walked into room 1, we got to near the corner of the sofa at the far end of the room, and we heard a lady humming. And we heard it, and it was as though she was in the room humming. She actually had a really nice voice. And all 4 of us, and then 4 guys and 2 being skeptics, all looked at each other and said, "Who did that?" And they started bickering about who would have done that, and they were getting quite agitated because they couldn't fathom out why they'd heard this humming. We came here, and this would have been in the late summer. There was some ambient lighting in the bar, but no great lighting as such. Picked these cups up, and I always remember picking the cups up and turning to my right. Now I turned about 45 degrees, and on the corner of my eye, and this is on the peripheral vision, I saw someone standing there. Well, initially I thought someone had come back down. See, so I turned, so I took a pace forward and turned to the right. That wasn't anybody who came down the stairs. What I saw in the doorway was someone probably about 5 foot 9 inches tall, quite tall, quite broad as well, quite a well-built person. Wearing a tricorn hat, a 3-pointed hat, because the points of the hat were definitely defined with the light behind them from the stairwell, and I presume it is a gentleman, but had a large cape, and the cape come up to probably halfway up the ears. Very much so I couldn't see the neck, so to speak. He had his hands on his hips because the cape bowed, which once again was visible because of the light in the hallway, so I could see all this. He had his legs astride, his hands on his hips, and he's looking straight at me. I'm looking at him and he's looking at me. Now, I suppose it is a case of shock. You just don't expect that. You just don't expect that. And I didn't see him appear, so he probably was behind me, or could have been behind me, while I was with the cups. He could have been standing there. But I didn't feel any particular presence. There was no coldness around me. But he was just standing there, and he had, I wouldn't say it was a threatening thing. The only thing I couldn't see was his face. His face was totally black. Whether the situation was I was in shock because of what I was seeing, because had he taken a step towards me, I don't know what I'd have done. I really don't. At that moment in time, I was just frozen. It was a case of, I never dropped anything, I never shouted, I never screamed, I just stood there looking at him and he was looking at me. He was very confident. He did give the aura of being a confident person because of the legs astride, hands on hips, and it was the attitude of, well, I'm here. Someone that would probably, when he was in the physical, have commanded respect. That's what I truly believe, because of his confidence with me just standing looking at me. Say that lasted about must have at the most 3 seconds, and then he went. And the interesting thing for me at that time, I never felt cold. There was no freezing temperature, there was no drop in the temperature around me until I stepped to the door where he was standing, because for my own peace of mind, I need to know there wasn't someone sort of moving in some way that I couldn't see. So I stepped forward, took 2 paces to the door, and that's when I noticed the temperature change. That was like stepping outside in probably -15 in a shorts and t-shirt. It immediately hit me. And I just stood there for about another 5 seconds looking at the stairs thinking, did this happen? You know, questioning myself then. To me, the restaurant, and there was a situation I had with the restaurant, and we had been sitting at the table, one of the tables in the restaurant, for no more than, must have been less than 5 minutes, you know, and asking out, and all of a sudden the table we're sitting at shifted about 9 inches to the right. And then the aura in the room changed, totally changed. You're not welcome. It's that type of feeling you get. That restaurant is the only place I would say that can at times feel a little bit unusual.
Over the last few years, my team and I have hosted several public paranormal investigations at the Skirrid. We caught up with Jacqueline, who attended one of these events, to revisit some of the evidence that we have captured in the past.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Hiya.
So you joined us at the Skirrid Inn for a public event, and we want to hear all about your experience.
Oh wow, the event was absolutely awesome. It's an all-nighter, but it's just crazy. In particular, there's one room which was absolutely awesome, which is, I think, the largest bedroom on the first floor. It was a stormy night anyway. When we got there, you were setting up the kit, and a REM pod was actually put into the bathroom just off the main room, and it wouldn't stop going off. So in the end, there were about 3 or 4 of you checking it out, and the batteries, everything, and it wasn't anything I'd ever seen before. Like, I know how REM pods work, but that was odd.
It was really, really strange because we were settling in. We thought we were going to have a good night investigating there. But, you know, there were a few investigators that were very skeptical of the whole Judge Jeffries thing. You know, why would he still be there? And it's actually funny because so many people have had experiences with him in that location. And then to be in that room, which used to be the courtroom, and have that REM pod just going absolutely crazy for no reason. We checked everything. We changed batteries. We did whatever we could. And for everybody to witness that and see that there was that activity was great. It was very unusual.
Did you get any EVPs or anything like that during your investigation?
I tried to get an EVP, and you could hear them say about deleting the backup. So we
That
actually got
was-
validation.
That was an incredible EVP, just to back up everything that I was saying to you guys at the time, saying, you know, on previous investigations we've had everything wiped. We had the FLIR camera wiped with the most incredible images on it, and there was no reason for it. And during the night, I was so worried about losing that backup that I had taken photographs of the screen on the FLIR camera to make sure that we had some sort of a backup, and the camera stopped working and was wiped. So we've had all sorts, you know, recordings deleted, photos deleted. But yeah, to have somebody else experience that Class A EVP saying delete the backup just validated all of that.
There was a series of other EVPs where MJ requested that whoever was around to say life goes on. And there's actually footage where it was repeated 3 times by somebody in the room other than us. And when we all heard that, the first one was absolutely amazing. But then when we heard the second and the third one was absolutely so clear. It's one of the best EVPs I've ever heard. That was absolutely amazing night. And also 2 people were scratched. Like, one was scratched at the start while we were trying to sort out their REM pods. And there is footage, you know, I did take a recording of this scratch as well as it was appearing on somebody. You know, they felt the sharp pain and then quickly showed where the scratch was, and you could actually see it developing in your eyes, which, wow.
There were also a few times where we'd heard footsteps outside the bedroom door, and everybody kind of rushed to go and check the pub, and there was no one there.
Yeah, because it was just us, wasn't it? You know, it's in the middle of a tiny village, a few houses, if that. So,
have you been there on any other occasions, or was that the only time you were at the Skirrid?
That's the only time I've been, but I certainly want to go back because it is awesome. Yeah. And it didn't seem like you're there all night, you know, you're on paranormal time.
Yeah.
You know, it just went so quickly.
I love that you're on paranormal time.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It is, it's true. It's very true. So it goes to show that this is a location that no matter how many times you go back there, there is always something going on.
And it's quite similar as well, like similar experiences that people are having that have never spoke to each other before. Incredible.
That's another thing. I mean, we had a couple people that we interviewed who have never met each other, who didn't know each other, but they both had the exact same experience in the location of seeing the Tricorn Hat Man. So Jeff, the owner of the Skirrid, had witnessed this person. And then without speaking to Mark, we interviewed him. And he was there on a paranormal investigation, taking a break. They were making some coffee. And he saw the Tricorn Hat Man in the bar as well. So it's really interesting to see 2 people. You know, you've got the owner of the Skirrid, who it's one of his most terrifying experiences, seeing this man, this full-bodied apparition. And you have a completely different member of public that's visited the place on an investigation and had the exact experience. Both described him the exact same way. It's amazing to me that how many stories there are, but everybody's accounts of them are so similar. It's just...
And it validates it as well, doesn't it? Which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate it.
After doing more research, we came across a photo taken during a paranormal investigation by a lady named Kaylee O'Leary. It shows a full-bodied apparition in the bar doorway. This female apparition is wearing a dress, her arm is stretched out, and her hand is on the banister as though she's walking down the staircase. Could this be the spirit of former landlady Fanny Price, or perhaps a housekeeper from centuries ago? Behind her appears to be a man's face, wearing what looks like a tricorn hat. This is not the only ghostly photo taken on these stairs. Another photograph taken by Colin Hawthorne shows a ghostly hand holding the staircase banister as if the apparition was walking back upstairs. There is no doubt that there is some truth to the hauntings here at the Skirrid. With our equipment charged and our plan in place, it's time to get ready for the 3rd investigation of the inn. Tonight we will be in room 1 and room 3, We intend on seeing if we can capture any other evidence to confirm these alleged hauntings.
On tonight's investigation, we're going to be doing something which is quite intriguing. We're going to be splitting into males and females. So myself and Alex and Corrine and MJ. The reason we've done that is because the activity in room 3 can be very, very different whether you're male or female. So I'm going to be intrigued to see how that pans out. What I've also done is I've set up a CCTV system. So I have a camera in each of the bedrooms pointing at the beds. We're going to be sleeping with the camera on, so we literally will have 24-hour coverage.
For tonight's investigation, we're going to be investigating in room 1 and 3. We have the CCTV set up in room 1 and we're going to be monitoring room 3 as well. So first of all, it's going to be me and MJ in room 3. We're going to be using the SLS camera. I've previously been really skeptical about the SLS camera because it tends to map out items of furniture and stuff like that. So I'm really intrigued to see if we can map something out when there's nothing actually there to be physically mapped out. We're also going to be investigating the bar area where MJ is going to be playing the guitar, and I'm going to take some photos just to see if there's anybody watching her or anybody around her.
While Corrine and I choose our equipment and get set up in room 3, Alex and Carl place additional CCTV cameras on the staircase to see if we could possibly capture an apparition walking by, as well as extra static cameras being placed down in the downstairs bar area to document any furniture or objects moving on their own. Corrine, let's go to room 3. I've actually laid out some of the tech already, so I've got the SLS ready and set up. I've got a recorder, I've got Rufus the bear, just to see if we can interact with the people who have said that they hear children here.
Right in the step. Oh, it's cold in here.
Yeah, it is fun.
Ooh.
Oh, don't move. Do not move. The SLS camera has just started mapping in a figure as we walked in, and it's on the bed. Can you wave a hand? Can you raise your hand and wave?
Wave back at us.
It's still there, which to me, because it's still there, it means that it's probably a false positive, but I don't know what it could be. It was in the corner by this wall here, but there is literally a blank wall and nothing mapping in there now. So where the infrared dots are cutting off is literally right next to the kitchen. Oh shit. Okay.
Okay, lights out?
Yeah, let's do this. Rufus is our EMF bear, and when you put him on, he lights up really nice and bright. If anything goes near that, we'll see that flashing. While us two ladies are in room 3, Alex and Carl will spend time monitoring the CCTV and investigating room 1.
To be truthfully honest, I get the same feeling day or night in this place.
Yeah.
You always get that feeling of being watched, or
Yeah.
the stuff that happens on your peripheral eyesight, like movement, shadows, things like that.
Let's roll on the recorder. Okay. If anyone is here with us in this room, I would love to know who you are and where you are in the room. So we have a few different pieces of equipment here, and I hope none of this scares you. On the left hand side of the bed, we've got a REM pod. It's got an antenna and the red light. If you go near that antenna, it will light up. On the bed itself, there's a bright blue light. It's a teddy bear. His name is Rufus, and if there's any children here, if you'd like to play with that teddy bear, you're more than welcome to. We have this camera over here, and we can see you on that camera if you stand in front of it. And then there's a thing with a red block in the middle of the bed. It's called a Mel meter, and if you go near that, it'll let us know where you are as well. So you've got lots of options to choose from, and we're going to record on this recorder. We'd love to hear your voice, okay? Rolling on recorder. This is room 3, MJ and Corrine. Can you let us know if you're here, please? Come and say hello. We know that this used to be the judge's chamber as well. What do you think of woman being in this area? The back of my hand has just started burning intensely.
Is it you that's been affecting MJ and Carl, making them feel sick?
I'm going to stop this recording and listen back.
Can you let us know if you're here, please? Can I say hello?
It's really faint.
Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to use the SLS because there's been reports of Fanny Price that walks around the bed or that area of this in room 1. So I've got the SLS. Fanny Price, are you around? Could you come and say hello? Stand in front of the bed for us.
Would you like me to take your photo? All you need to do is stand by the bed and I'll be able to take a photo of you.
Well, we've introduced ourselves, so can you tell us your name, please? Oh, thank you for that.
There's a calm feeling here, doesn't it? Wonder how the girls are getting on in room 3.
What do we look like to you?
What do we look like to you?
Whoa!
Something down there.
What do we look like to you, MJ and Corrine?
What do we look like to you?
Could you sit down on the...
Oh, hey.
It's gone ice cold. It's right where that figure's mapping again.
That's crazy.
It's sitting like on the corner of the bed where that cold temperature drop is.
Oh, you can see it there.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps
up,
coming
it's-
back just for the... Keep waving. That's incredible. Thank you so much.
The structured light sensor camera, or SLS camera, projects a grid of infrared dots. Should any humanoid figure break this pattern of dots, it'll map in on the screen. This mapped-in figure appears to be standing on the bed and waving at us on cue. Oh, battery drain.
Oh, you're joking.
No, the whole SLS is just shutting down. It's just drained the whole battery.
Come and say hello to us. Stand close. All you need to do is just stand in front of the bed and wave. And obviously this was the bedroom that Fanny Price died in.
Yes.
And there has been guests that have stayed here who have woken up and seen a figure of a lady walking around near the bed. If the lady that's been seen in this room could just come and say hello, just stand in front of the bed and wave at us, that would be really, really amazing. No, nothing.
Is there more than one person in this room with us?
Get out.
That's a get out.
Oh.
Is there more than one person in this room with us?
Out.
That's a get out.
Oh. Maybe if I take a photograph on that side.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is, let's get that recorder. Let's listen back to that.
Yeah.
Do you want to grab it?
Yeah.
I've just gone ice cold. Like, to the point where I'm shaking.
Really?
And then we've obviously got the, at the bottom of the stairs, we've got the motion activated camera. So I'll be interested to see if that picks up on any movement and follows it. But MJ's controlling that in room 3 at the moment.
Okay.
So I think we just sit here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And just keep an eye out on the screens.
So if you are still in here, if you could stand next to MJ, that would be great. I should be able to get you in these photos. They're instant photos, so you'll be able to see them within minutes. Okay, ready? 1, 2,
That's a change in temperature.
3. I'm also going to take some in that direction. Okay, if you're over there, I'm going to take your photo. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And a couple more. Hey, you're messing with me now.
That's weird.
So I'm going to get you. 1, 2, 3. Where are you now? That was ruthless.
That is so weird.
Sure. I'm going to get you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We played hide and seek with the camera before. I wonder if we've got you.
So we have
Every time.
the EMF bear going off, and then the REM pod going off, but at different times.
Hang on.
Yeah, they've just turned the light out. I heard the click.
But they didn't come across.
Cross where?
How would they turn a light on if they would have crossed the camera?
No, they wouldn't.
Rolling on the recorder, room 3, MJ and Corrine. I'm going to put this at the end of the bed. Okay, whoever is in here and is making these devices trigger, first of all, thank you. Corrine sat right next to that REM pod now, so if you want to scare her, why don't you go ahead and touch that antenna. I've also got a recorder on the end of the bed here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop this recording. Can you step away from that, please?
Thank you. This is amazing.
That's pretty awesome interaction. How about this? Let's take them out and just check the milligas in this room, because if there is anything that's affecting Rufus and the REM pod, you would pick it up on the millimeter.
Yeah.
So let's just check the baseline reading in here to make sure.
Okay.
Because otherwise it could be a completely natural explanation. There's nothing that can make it flash unless it has a high EMF and it touches that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing. Nothing, I can't make him flash. And there's nothing here that's steady that could cause it.
Yeah.
Let's check your photos really quickly. Is there anything other than a blind MJ?
No, I can't see.
No weird anomalies of any sort?
No.
Do you know what I think? Let's see if the guys get more of a reaction in here. After a brief chat with the guys, we decided to head downstairs to investigate the bar area. Perhaps we could make contact with the Tricorn Hat Man, or maybe Larry, who interacted with us last night. I'm hoping that with a fun atmosphere in the bar and more live music, we may be able to attract some more attention. After stoking the fire, I reached out to move my guitar case and accidentally bumped the chain next to the fireplace. Is this the sound that we heard? That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
Oh, the shivers are in.
I know, I've just gone ice cold. What was that? That is the exact sound that we were trying to debunk. I just bumped into it. When I moved the guitar case here, I just bumped into that chain. Does it remind you of...
I don't believe it.
What?
Larry, are you here? Double.
What?
Same question.
Same question, except...
Okay, I didn't ask whether you want a drink, but I put Larry in the question.
Yeah.
Double. I then basically said, who are you? And it says Larry talking. I went, do you want a drink? And it only responded one word and went double.
So maybe Larry was a regular here, who would always order his double and come and sit here. With not much happening in the bar area, it seemed really quiet. It's time for Alex and Carl to investigate room 3.
Sounds like the girls captured some interesting stuff in here.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can capture being an all-male group. Just for the cameras and just for everybody. We've left the room exactly the same as how the girls left it. We'll just go old school initially, just ask a few questions out. See if they can interact with the stuff that the girls were getting activity on, okay?
Yeah.
Think it's a good idea?
Yeah, perfect.
Hi, my name's Carl. That's Alex.
EVP recording room 1?
Yes.
Yes, room 1. MJ and Corrine, the boys are in room 3. Just putting that down.
Would you like to come and sit with us? You can sit next to us, right here.
Do you hear that?
Birds.
Is that birds?
Yep. It's that late.
That means it's like 5 in the morning.
Yep. Have we kept you up?
Keep hearing banging noises. I wonder how the guys are getting on. Can you go to room 3 and scare the hell out of the 2 guys in there? Should we play that back?
Yeah. That looked constant at the end.
You know what the equipment is that's on the bed and on the side of the bed? Can you see if you can light one of them up? If you want to go and play with the teddy bear, his name's Rufus. Thank you. Could you go and stand close to that again for us? Were you more happy talking to the girls than talking to us? Is it because girls aren't allowed in here, or if they are, they're here for one reason only?
The boys are in room 3. Would you like to come and sit
Say right there.
next to us? Have we kept you up?
You say yes.
I think we have.
I hate sitting here listening to the birds. Let's try this again. Do you remember us from previous investigations?
Are we going to be safe when we sleep tonight?
I wish you didn't ask that question.
Just got to step close and it will alarm for us, just so we know you're there. Could you do that for us now, please? Because you're having so much fun, my question is, did you like the girls?
Shoulder, talking, taste, 6.
Oh, thank you. Do you like this new toy? So you can see, did you like the girls? And obviously it's coming up with the different words. Obviously they were talking. I don't know. I don't know whether that's connections or whether we're just doing one and one is 8.
I don't know why I asked that question.
Yeah,
It just came
really,
out.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
I'm trying to avoid it the whole night. I thought they said like I don't. It's very faint. You can't make it out.
I'm so glad I didn't get a response to that question. I,
know.
don't know why I
That's the
asked
one thing
it.
I was worried about. It's been a long week, man.
Should we get the guys?
Yeah, I reckon we should. Let's call it a night. I'm so exhausted.
Do you want the girls to come back?
Go produce.
So you want us to produce one of the girls? Do you want?
Yeah, guys, the sun's coming up. How are you guys doing in here?
I said, did you want the girls back? And he came back. It said straight off before even I got halfway through saying the question out loud. It said, "Girl, produce."
Wow.
We were literally like putting which girl.
And then you knocked on the
And
door.
then we knocked on the door. Well, you produced a girl. Hey.
We produced 2.
Great. So it's sunrise. I am cold. I am tired.
Exhausted.
Yeah. I'm literally exhausted.
During the investigation, we didn't really pick up anything when we were in room 3 compared to what the girls were picking up. And when we were monitoring the girls in room 3 and we were in room 1, again, nothing really came through on the monitoring. When we moved down into the bar area, we did hear beforehand some like footsteps that were coming from down there. But the rest of the night seemed fairly quiet.
We've just concluded our experiments in room 3, room 1 and the bar area. Myself and Alex didn't really experience anything when we were monitoring the CCTV in room 1, but at one stage we were listening out and we could hear what sounded like dragging or somebody moving a chair or something very loud happening downstairs. The acoustic in the Skirrid Inn is quite amazing because it just echoes. So there must be some reason behind that for that noise to come through. When we were investigating the main bar area, my main role for the evening was to monitor the equipment. So I did an experiment with the paranormal puck. I was also monitoring the environment. So I was looking at EMF, I was looking at sound, I was looking at everything relating to the environment, just to see if we could pick up on anything when anything was happening. It was a very, very exciting night, and then all of a sudden it went flat. It was kind of like Last Orders at the bar, and that was it. That was the end of the night.
This evening's experiment in room 3. We definitely had a few interesting EVPs come through. At one point, we asked who's in the room, and it sounds almost as if somebody said MJ and Corrine, which was quite sarcastic, to be honest. There was a figure that mapped in on the right-hand side of the bed on the SLS camera, and we also had a really weird change in temperature. The temperature kept fluctuating quite significantly, several degrees at a time. It just went icy cold, and then it seemed to heat up every now and again. It was really different, really bizarre. The downstairs bar area was quite quiet until we started getting some responses through on the paranormal puck. it seemed that there was a gentleman there who loved the doubles. We also seemed to hear really bizarre noises downstairs, like footsteps going down the staircase and onto the slate flooring. So this is moving from wood to slate. It seemed that every time we were upstairs, we heard things downstairs. And whenever we were downstairs, we heard things upstairs.
We had a pretty active night tonight. We had some things appear on the SLS camera to the right-hand side of the bed in room 3, and there was nothing there that could be mistakenly mapped out, so that was pretty awesome. We also got an EVP that said something like MJ and Corrine, which is pretty freaky. They know us on a first-name basis, clearly. The same seemed to happen when we were downstairs. We would hear things like footsteps upstairs. So it was like we were being chased around, like tricked in a sense. Overall, the investigation was pretty cool.
During our investigation this evening, it seems as though the stories about the ladies experiencing more activity in room 3 ring true. Discovering that the noise which Alex and I heard in the bar could potentially be a really heavy chain moving on its own suggests that the spirits of the Skirrid Inn are used to physically manipulating solid objects. This takes an immense amount of energy. Could Larry be the name of the Tricorn Hat Man? Or perhaps he was just a regular customer who still visits? After 5 days at the Skirrid Inn, it appears that the spirits here already know us by name. The evening seemed a little quieter than usual, but with the 3rd investigation wrapped up, we will spend tomorrow interviewing our final paranormal witnesses, doing more research, and preparing for our 4th and final investigation of the week. 3 down, 1 to go.